Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? Can everybody hear me? We had issue with Zoom earlier today. It's nice to see you all. Just going to give a couple more minutes for people to join. If anyone can give me a thumbs up if they can hear me.
I can hear you.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Okay. Thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate that. Just give a couple more minutes for people to trickle in. We have a pretty full house, which is exciting. Is everybody getting bombarded today with Bank of Canada calls and emails and asks? Probably didn't pick the best day for me to do this presentation. I didn't think about that ahead of time. I'm sorry.
Yes, definitely getting lots of people asking questions.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. That was a poor planning. Maybe this will be the break that you needed today, though.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. This morning was crazy. I couldn't believe how much more. I don't know, maybe this one seemed like more of a surprise to people. Not sure why, but that seems to be where we're at. I'm just going to wait one more minute to let people in. I should have just had it where you jump right in without being in the waiting room, but I'm worried that if I start talking and presenting, I will leave people in the waiting room. And I suspect more people registered to get the recording, which is great, no problem at all, or they're just completely bombarded, as today is a busy day for all that are in the industry, so that's okay. I'll give you a little background why I'm doing this. I get quite a few calls on a regular basis, probably about 2 to 3 a week right now, from mortgage agents or brokers just asking what to do because it started to slow down. And I'm still pretty busy, but definitely I would say volume is lesser. But the activity, for example, today, just bananas. So there's a lot of inquiries, I feel like, but maybe not as many files. So if you're newer and you got into the industry in either the last 2 or 3 years, you may have been experiencing what was absolutely bananas. And if you started in the last 2 or 3 months, or even just in general this year, you might have said, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into? Because it is slower than what we all experienced over the last 2 or 3 years. So like I said, I get a lot of these calls, and I was thinking, The I Love Mortgage community, or Newbie, or WIMI, whichever one you want to look at, has been such a place of inspiration or wealth of knowledge for me that I've been very fortunate enough to benefit from. And I also found that when I would be talking to people, some people didn't know about the groups. So if you don't know, I don't know how you came here. If you don't know about the Facebook groups that are out there for mortgage professionals, there are beautiful communities out there of support. And they've been, I would say, life-changing for some of us, and I'm one of those people. So I wanted to give an hour because I thought, one, maybe it'll limit some of the calls I get, but also to share and give back a little bit. So I'm going to talk about kind of a little bit of what I do on a regular basis consistently to try and maintain consistent business. And I've been in the mortgage industry since 2008, but first I was with a big bank, and then I left and I was licensed in 2018 individually, or as an individual agent, and then I got my broker license just recently. So that's a little bit about me and what I've been doing. And I'm going to go into three, I say tools, but they're really more things that I do on an every single day basis to continue on regardless of what the market's doing. And one of my favorite realtors said to me the other day, and I continue to say it now, it was probably about a month or two ago, but she said, Emily, the market doesn't care about you. And it's kind of true. It's a little harsh maybe, but the market doesn't care about us. It doesn't matter if, you know, it's also kind of like the weather. Some people might think that the snow is really great and they love the weather when it's cold, and other people might think it's awful. I am one that hates the snow and cold. So if you asked me what the weather's like and it was a snowy day, I might say terrible. And someone else might say it's the best day ever. So that's kind of what I feel like the market's like. But what we can control is our activities, our consistency, the people we surround ourselves with, and the execution of the what's in the hows. So that's what I'm going to talk about a little bit today. And then I will share the actual tools that I use to organize my life. If you do have me on Instagram, you'll know that I have 2 young children and I've had them over the last 5.5 years. So I'm pretty much always one on my hip, or doing 3 or 4 things at once. So having actual tools is very important to me, and it helps me stay on top of things and super organized. So what I would like to talk to you about today is the people that you surround yourself with. And I don't just necessarily mean realtors, which I feel like everybody kind of pushes down our throats. They are very important people and they are absolutely a referral source of ours. However, I do feel like there are other people in the downtime that we can be connecting with to maintain excellent relationships and help us get deals done faster when they do come into the pipeline. So CMHC and BRMs and underwriter, or I shouldn't say CMHC, but default insurance providers, their underwriters, as well as our lender underwriters and our BDMs, are great people to be connecting with on a regular basis to help increase your knowledge and expertise, but also to check in with them and maintain that relationship. So when you do have a file, you can reach out to them. That's something I probably do every 3 or 4 days. Just going to message my husband. Someone's going to come ring the doorbell. I apologize. Okay, so that's one area that I would say is very important for me to kind of maintain those relationships. Another one is checking in for sure with referral partners, realtors, that sort of thing. It's a very common idea, but it's the people that we can offer to help and help connect with, but also connect with them on a very regular basis. And it's really important that we are a positive source of information during this time. So I'm going to go into what I do Monday through Friday, and I have a little bit of weekends that I do as well. But in that, I would like to kind of just talk about the people first. Community and referral partners as well, and being connected with people outside of our industry. So I think sometimes we get really focused on the people that are in our industry, And sometimes we forget about the people outside of our industry that we can either connect with and add value to, or they can add value to us. And sometimes we need to take a break from, the social media blasts about the market and focus more on the creative side and what value we can add back in. So sometimes I like to surround myself with people that are outside of the industry as well. And then consistency. So doing something daily. So there's so many activities that you can do. But the point is to do something every single day. So again, that's what I'm going to go into kind of my Monday through. I actually do go to Sunday. As much as I like to think that I take days off, I just do less on the weekends, but still doing activities. So daily doing something. So consistently doing whatever it is that's right for you, emails, calls, texts, blog posts, whatever that is for you. And every person's going to have something different. So I've had so many agents say, well, I can't cold call. That's fine. You don't have to cold call. You can do, whatever it is that's going to spark your joy or bring something to your personality. Focus on adding the value and the education versus doing everything at once. And I think that's another thing that has been coming up on the calls that I've been getting from agents recently is almost the overwhelm of where you have to be everywhere at once. And I don't know about you, if we can even put a thumbs up or a comment or something, if you feel overwhelmed that you have to be everywhere. You have to be doing everything. And the comparison between, coming into when it was so busy and you felt like you were on the wheel and it was spinning out of control, to now it's a little bit slower and you have to be a little bit more intentional. I'm just seeing here. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it can feel overwhelming. And sometimes I think we need to kind of slow down and just take a moment. So part of what I do, and I'm trying to remember if I even wrote it down, but I schedule time to just think in my calendar. And we'll get to the calendar because that is probably the number one takeaway tool that I use. But you need quiet to be able to come up with ideas and be creative. And then you need the time to actually do it. So it's consistently doing and sharing the activities, but then the execution is so important. I would say, 4 to 6 hours a day, I spend every single day doing something from the above list. So the dailies are what I'm doing, the people are who I'm connecting with, and the execution is how often and what I'm physically doing. So I'm going to jump right into my week, I think. Oh no, tools, sorry, don't have it memorized. So here are some of the tools that I use on a very regular basis. So first of all is, you need to have some kind of calendar, even if it's a paper calendar. I mean, I do both. I like to physically see things in front of me. I am spending a lot more time on social media. I have 2 young kids, so I have spent time there anyhow. Why I say that is because it's hard to be out and about all of the time when I have the younger children. But also I am finding now I'm using it more than I was when I was busy. So I'm slowing down in the volume. So therefore I'm trying to ramp up business. So I will say that my social media calendar, and this is a screenshot from it, I do use Buffer, but you can use any type of social media content planner. I prefer this one. I like visually how it looks, but this is a tool that I use. And then from a Google perspective, calendar perspective of a regular calendar, I just use regular Google. But you can use whatever you want, as long as it'll keep you on track and you can time block things. We will go through again Monday through Sunday in just a moment, but having that clear understanding of where you are and what you need to do, because part of, I think, the overwhelm or the confusion that I've experienced is when you wake up and sometimes don't know where to start, or you have so many things because you have the idea that you want to do everything, that yes, you can write a list, but your list would be this long. So what are we going to actually time block and accomplish today? So that's my Google Calendar for organizing calls and events and meetings with clients, that sort of thing. What calendar do people What calendars do people think connects to the most other platforms? That's a great question. I really like Google. I know some people do use Outlook. Maybe the group can chime in on that one if there's other people. Um, for me, for Buffer, for social media planning, I use the paid account and you can connect 8 channels to it. For me with Google Calendar, there's so many different add-ons or plugins that you can leverage that I really like it for that purpose. But maybe there's other people that will chime in on what they like to use from a tools perspective. Because certainly I'm not the only one that, I like Google Calendar too. I also, it's funny, I'm an diehard Apple user, but when it comes to G Suite, I haven't been able to find something better. And I did try Dropbox before, and I did try other calendars, but this one, it just seems to work the best for me. And then based on all of the conversations that I've been having with clients with other agents, that sort of thing, I ended up creating a tool called Brokerage Social, which is where I essentially created content, and then brokers or agents are subscribing to get the content. So that took a lot of the think work out, and has helped for me personally for content planning in advance so that I can post in Buffer, but also obviously it's great for me to have for other agents as well. Canva is where I live, I would say. If you don't have Canva, I wonder genuinely how you do everything nowadays, because I haven't used what's it called, PowerPoint, in years. I love Canva because the branding, if you haven't made a brand kit, it's absolutely amazing, and it will make all of your website, your PowerPoint presentations, your signage, your print, everything. Yeah, I love the paid version of Canva. It's all in the same colors, fonts. You can really streamline and automate it, and you can reuse the same things. If you do the paid version, you can literally hit resize, and it'll take your image that you made for Instagram and change it to the size that you need it for the background of your website, let's say. And it's so great. I've also downloaded stuff from FC for Canva, but I don't know how to separate the slides. Helen, I can help you with that. I will totally help you with that. But yes, you can do that sort of thing too, and get templates that way for sure. And then CRM, I mean, I think Dustin Woodhouse is famous for saying the CRM doesn't matter as long as you use it. I totally agree. None of them were good enough for me, so we actually have our own. This is one that my partner has built for my business, and this is what we use. It's called Brokerage, and it pairs with social. But you can use anyone and whatever one suits you best. So I always say I married my calendar. Does Brokerage link with Filogics? Yes, it does. And why I say that, what platform was Brokerage built off of? One that was made up. There is no backend. It's an independent platform. And I'll jump right into what I do on a regular basis, because that's why you're here. And I'm going to go kind of Monday through Sunday. I will go a little bit fast because I want to be respectful of your time, but this is all recorded. And if you want the slide deck, I'm absolutely happy to share it with you. So first thing in the morning, I try to get my calls out of the way. And what I would recommend to you is the thing that you like to do the least. I would encourage you to start with that in your day. I'm not a huge fan of outbound calls. I don't know if it's because when I was a lot younger, I grew up in a call center environment, but I really don't enjoy actually outwardly calling people anymore. So I do, and I know I have to, because if I have pre-approvals and stuff like that, or I have clients that are out shopping and I have questions or that sort of thing, I do have to connect with these people and I have to pick up the phone. So I try to get those things done first thing in the morning on Monday. And generally speaking, that's when I would have people actually calling, purchasing, right? So on the weekend, Monday morning, I block that time for me to call the people that were shopping, the clients or the realtors. And then I try to limit the reactive amount of time that I am checking email. So unless something's an absolute emergency and blowing up, I try to schedule time to check my mail. And that's the same logic that you don't constantly check your mailbox 5 times a day outside of your house. So why are we doing that with our emails? So I just try to do that to try and set some type of a routine. And I do that, throughout the day, but really from 10 until 11 for sure. And then again at 4 p.m. You'll see I do also check before I kind of sign off. Ideally, I'm signing off at 4 p.m., but that doesn't always happen. And then around 11 a.m., I take a break from calls at my desk and my emails, and I look for realtor events on Meetup, Eventbrite, and other referral partners events that I can join. And those are, that's a time that I spend on Mondays to try and plan for the next week to go to events. And a place that I've gotten a lot of benefit from are Chamber of Commerce. In the beginning, I did a lot of BNI stuff and other community social or like outside networking places. So I'll always try to look for other people's events I can go to on Mondays, and then I plan for the following week. So for example, this Monday I was booking for next week. Sometimes I'll book them 2 or 3 weeks in advance. And I also go on to Eventbrite and Meetup and all those types of places. And I will look for like groups that I can follow that will invite me to things later where I can meet more people. So I'm always trying to find more people to meet. And then 1 p.m. onwards, I follow up with anyone I need to. So it's just, confirming that files have been instructed and that sort of thing. So really like our desk work, that's less of the recruit or the lead generating and more of the maintenance of my own kind of business that I have going on. And then every day from 2 until 2:30, I schedule 15 to 20 minutes. It says 30, but we always get pushed on things where I will spend time to actually engage in other people's social media. And I do that as a scheduled time because one, I don't want to fall into the trap where I am on social media too much because I can fall into that hole. And two, I want to make sure that I'm actually contributing to the other people that contribute to my social. So it's a great opportunity for me to share other people's events, open houses, new listings, community events, that type of thing. So that's my Monday. I do start, I would say probably 9:15 after my son dropped off, and I do end usually like 3:30, 4 o'clock, same thing, to pick up my kids. Tuesdays to Thursdays, I would say generally speaking, from 9:30 until 1 p.m. with like some break, I'm doing client calls and deals. So that's when I'm working in my business and actually doing pre-approvals and follow-ups and that sort of thing. I tend to work on pre-approvals on Tuesday mornings. I don't know, it feels like after the weekend, clients reach out on the Monday and they book on the Tuesday. So that's when I generally find that I am doing most of my deals. And then on Tuesdays, I try to do every other Tuesday some kind of Instagram live with a partner, and that could be an accountant, lawyer, financial planner, bankruptcy trustee, that sort of thing. So just trying to get them exposure and also connecting that way. And again, the 15 to 20 minutes on social to engage, that's engaging in other people's platforms. And then this is where I didn't put it. So really on Tuesdays in the afternoon, although I am working deals until 1 p.m. and I try to turn off at 4, I try to have a quiet time to think. And that is time that I separate for myself to come up with ideas and to really take the time to write. And that's when I'll use that for social media posts, blog posts, my market update, things like today where we have the Bank of Canada's news. I would probably have I did have a preemptive write-up, and then it's going to go out at 3 o'clock today. So all I had to do was a couple tweaks to make sure that what my predictions were accurate. But take that time to be creative and to also rest, I think, so that you can come up with ideas. And also, I would say I don't like to have too heavy of a call day on Tuesdays because I did a really heavy proactive call on Mondays. So I try to go kind of like a really intense day followed by a less intense day. So Tuesday is my less intense day because I need to be strategizing files. Wednesdays are very social for me outside of the house. So I often will be out. I do a presentation once a month or twice a month, which could be one of these presentations. I just invite a couple more people and sorry, let them in. So when I have days where I'm going to be presenting, for example, today I have this presentation and I also am one of the coaches for the 10 Loans Event Academy. I try not to put as much outbound calls on those days as well, because these types of things take a lot of time and energy to be able to push out. And if I were to do too many calls beforehand, then I might be not presenting in the best way. So I try to also think about when I'm planning in my calendar, where my energy is going and what people will receive from that, so that they're getting kind of the best me, or what I think is the best me. It may not actually be the best me, but try to put my best foot forward that way. So today, for example, this presentation, and then filming content. So Wednesdays, I do a lot. Thank you, Helen, you're very nice. I do a lot of content filming, because if I'm already getting dressed up for a presentation, then I will use that time that I've used to make myself look presentable to then do content. So I'll have taken the scripts that I wrote the previous Tuesday and I will use those to make videos, either educational towards my realtors or to my clients or to social media, YouTube, that sort of thing. So I try to, if I feel like I am high energy and looking presentable, I will then also capitalize on that and create film content that I can batch and later use on another day. And then again, you'll see consistently 15 to 20 minutes on everyone else's social media to try and grow and add value to their following as well. And then Thursdays, I try to do in-person coffee. So generally I do, it says 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., but really what I do is 9 a.m. To 11 a.m. most days. And I do kind of 2 back-to-back events or coffees. So what I do is I pick the same coffee shop and I meet someone and I put it in the calendar for 45 minutes. So they almost always say to me, oh, we're nearing our time. And then they leave. And then the next person comes in and I have another coffee right back to back with them. So I try to hammer out, I feel, I mix them up. So do I feel the in-person meeting is more effective than by phone or online? Generally speaking, the in-person meeting I'm having is to solidify a conversation that I've already had with somebody online over the phone or via Zoom. Or it's maintaining a relationship with someone else that I've already done files or have a relationship with. So it's more of a maintenance. I used to try and have coffee with everyone, but I found that not to be a great use of time for me. And I would be, my first year I had 2 coffees a day, every single day with someone for, I think it was 158 days straight. And it was so hard. And yes, they were, none of them are clients. I rarely meet clients face to face. They're partners such as realtors. Yeah. BDM, sometimes if it's really, really slow, I prefer to just have calls with them. I think they probably prefer the same. But partners or referral partners of like a financial planner or even real estate lawyers, that sort of thing. Just how can we help each other? How can we continue to drum up business? Sometimes it's nice to just have a motivational conversation with someone else that is also in the industry and understands kind of what we're going through. As we know, it can be a very lonely industry. So that's what I use Thursdays for now, but I used to have 2 coffees a day every single day. And that is how I built my referral partners out in the first place. But now I kind of just am meeting with people that I already know and just maintaining that relationship. And that's why it's once a week instead of every single day. You end up finding your people, right? And then 12 to 1 is when I will do event promotion for the next Wednesday. So like I said, I usually have a live on Tuesdays, every other Tuesday, and I usually do 1 event or 2 events that are bigger on Wednesdays. So that's when I'll use this time to do promotional advertising. That's like a paid ad, or I'll call people and invite them, or I will text them the invitation, that sort of thing. So I'll spend that time to really try to push my events or get people to come to my events. The first time homebuyers investment seminar and the buying a second home seminars, I almost always get 2 files from them. But I don't just do a paid ad and leave it. I really call people, and I usually call all the past attendees and ask them if they know anyone else that's thinking about buying or investing or something like that. And I almost always get 4 or 5 people just from that, and then usually 20 or 30 people come, and then you get a file or 2 from it. So consistently having those every month, basically 2 of each topic on the previous slide, covers you for the year. So and you start getting it's the same presentation over and over again. And if you're a realtor partner or accountant, whoever you're partnering with can get people to come in the doors too, then it's a great way to lead generate. And but it takes promotion, and that's part of the activity, and it takes time to get people to fill the seats. So I would spend at least an hour, sometimes more, on promoting events that I have, and they're all, the link tree has to be updated, the Eventbrite has to be updated, the Zoom link, all that good stuff has to be, even if it is just the date changing, that sort of, the photos might even be the same, the content may be the same, but you do still need to update it and maintain it. So that's what I spend the time doing on the Thursday doing. And then I kind of keep the theme going. So I would call 2 or 3 partners on Thursday afternoon and ask about events they're hosting, and at that same time invite them to the event that I'm hosting. So right now there's a lot of pumpkin giveaways, but it could be a Canada Day celebration, buyer night, whatever. It could be industry related or community related. Sometimes the event, just to give you an idea, doesn't have to be mortgage related at all. I'm going to a women's event on Friday morning, and it's about finances, and not about finances in the sense of a financial planner. It's actually like a coach, and she's going to talk about mindset and limitations and how we think about money. And so I invited a bunch of realtor partners to that, and 3 of them I'm going to pick up along the way when we go into Toronto. So it's a great opportunity to connect and that sort of thing. So there's lots of ways that you can not necessarily host the event, but arrange it and include. So that's what I'm doing on Friday, but I did the call on Thursday to promote the event, invite the event, like 2 Thursdays ago. So, and then again, consistency, right? We go back to the consistency is 15 to 20 minutes of engagement. Yeah, I can send you the link for Friday's event. It is the in-person part has sold out, but there is an online. So if you would like to come, I can send it to you. It's not my event. It's just an event I'm going to. Can you just send me a private message to remind me, and I will flip it to you. Friday, and maybe I'll just put my email address. I don't know if this will be in if you would have got my email registering. I'm sure you would have, but I will put it here for you just in case. And I will send you the link if you just poke me to remind me. And then Friday, I try not to book calls in the morning. So again, that is because that's when clients are making offers a lot of the time, and they need to be asking me questions. So I try not to book too many calls on Friday. And I just spend that time working files or making calls on clients that are purchasing. And also that is when I will often go to coffees as well. One thing I will say about the coffee versus in-person online is I used to meet people anywhere and say, where's convenient for you? I don't know why, but one day I decided I'm just going to always go to the same coffee shop, and no one has complained. So they're always like, where do you want to go? And I pick the same one, and it's about 800 meters from my house, and it just saves a lot of time. So no traffic, no gas, no, back and forth, and no one's complained. So if you can, I would highly recommend doing that as well. Also, coffee is short and cheap versus long and expensive. So if you're in a very uncomfortable conversation, a coffee is easy to be like, oh, my coffee's cold / done, I want to leave, versus, we're on our appetizer and now here comes our main. So that's why I like that. How different is your schedule from when you started to what it's now? So great question. I would say now it is a lot more virtual. I now almost like filter through people first before I sit down and have a coffee with them. But when I first started, um, I would say I had in-person meetings with everyone. And my calendar was completely full, and I never ended my day before 4 o'clock ever. Like, I don't think I ever had time to myself for the first 2 years, probably. So I would say it's a lot more balanced now. And I've automated almost everything now. I have very few emails do I actually send. I have a lot of conversations on the phone, but my CRM and everything that I do, like through social media and through email, is automated based on the where the deal is in the process. And then same with Buffer, posts all my social content, you know, planned versus me. I used to be on my phone all the time, whereas now I'll wake up in the morning and I'll see like my posts that I wrote 3 weeks ago are going out on a regular basis. So those are the automations that have come in and taken, um, given me the ability to do a lot more, I would say, just personal things, I guess, like a normal life. Saturday, I do spend um, time working still in some capacity, but it's fun working. I always say like it doesn't feel like work. It's something where I can bring my kids or my family to an event, and that could be anything. It doesn't even mean that I'm sponsoring it. It just means that I'm hitting up someone that I know is going to be there. So if there is a you know, a realtor partner team or something like that, and they are doing a pumpkin patch or a school fun fair or anything like that, I absolutely go. Sometimes I offer to sponsor it. I'll throw some money at it, or I'll bring, you know, ask if I can bring cookies or something like that. But most of the time I just show up, and they're very appreciative. And then my kids, you know, play on the bouncy castle or whatever, face painting, whatever the case may be. So I try to support a partner at the same time, including my family. And, you know, that way it doesn't feel as work related on a weekend, but I am still making those touch points. And then if I have to, I will have ad hoc calls, but really I try as often as possible to push any calls to Monday. And that's why I have that block on the Monday to make calls. And 15 to 20 minutes is probably more like an hour on weekends. And when my kids take naps on the weekends, they are here and they are napping. I will like spend a lot of time on social engaging others. Sundays, I really try to do very little, other than the fact that if I'm great, lucky, and lucky, then my daughter will sleep for 3 hours. If not, it's generally 2 hours. And that is when I am doing writing. It's quiet. My son takes time to rest and as well. He doesn't nap, but he rests still. And so I will do my social media write-ups and that sort of thing. I need real quiet for that. I can't write when calls are coming in, or I'm working on a file, or I'm thinking about a client. I really need quiet to actually create. And I can't have music in the background. I can't have people coming and going in my office. I need to really dedicate that time. So I'm very aware of the fact that I need that quiet time. And yeah, so that's when I craft my write-ups and stuff like that. So that's kind of it for my weekly calendar. Does anyone have any questions before I kind of go into my kind of like tip takeaway? Pause for a second. I'm just gonna say I'll have a sip of water, but I'm not that prepared. I didn't bring water for myself. So tips that have helped me: if you can take 10 or 15 minutes to write yourself a job posting of what you expect for if someone were to be working in your business, that really helped me. So how many hours do you want to be working in your business every day, every week? And what activities would that person need to be doing to be a great employee? If you're writing this down and you write this job description and then you're not doing those activities, probably you're not that great of an employee in your company. So maybe you need to think about what you need to do to improve. Maybe it's spending more time lead generating, or more time on your personal development, or more time resting, because resting is where creativity happens. So yeah, it's not always like a one size fit all kind of thing, but it's something to think about if you can understand what you would expect someone else to do, so that you know what you need to do every day. Because I do get that question all the time: is what do I do today? What should I be doing? How do I meet people? And then I like to follow people outside of our industry. And I think I touched on that a little bit earlier. A lot of what we do is transferable. So if you have accounts that are not mortgage related or not real estate related, you can get a lot of creative ideas from them. Again, I go back to rest every day. So I know that sounds a little bit crazy right now, but sometimes when we're so worried about being slow, we worry too much, and then that can be almost debilitating in itself. So instead of maybe worrying so much, take a break and allow yourself the personal time to think and be creative, because there is a lot of noise right now. There's just a lot of noise. It's all doom and gloom. The market's awful. Everything's terrible. Rates are bad. Housing market's crashing. Inflation's high. And it's just not a super positive place if you let yourself go down that path. Or you can take a break and think about what you can control. And that goes back to the activities of Monday through Sunday. And of course, everyone here in this room is going to have a different activity that they gravitate to. But you know, if we go back to the first tool, which is the people, if you can surround yourself with like-minded souls and you can feed off each other's energy, then that can be a lot more valuable than going down the path of, I'm not doing enough, I need to do more, the market's terrible, yada, yada, yada. So, and then, yeah, I think also time block to actually think about a problem that you have, or time block and think about a problem someone else could have. If you can think about some problems that realtors have by either asking them or by thinking about it and coming up with a solution, that's a great value add that you can provide. It's really nice to come to someone and say, I thought of you and I created this. Would you use it? Versus just, may I have a lead kind of thing. So take some time to think about other people and how you can help them, or what value you could add to help someone else's business. And by you doing that, you'll probably see that your business will grow. And then this, I can email you if you're interested. Maybe you can give a thumbs up if that's of value. These are the tools that I use on a really regular basis. Some of them are paid, full disclosure. Buffer I pay for. Actually, I think almost all of them I pay for now. I don't pay for Calendly or Linktree. I still use the paid or free version, but the other ones I do pay for. These are tools that have helped me to be able to do things more efficiently, so that I'm not having 2 coffees a day every single day and not actually working in my business. I talked about G Suite. It is a lifesaver for me. Again, it's not just the calendar, but it is the email as well. I still use Sheets and Docs as well to communicate with my team. Do you still oh yeah, I absolutely. Every single day I try to connect with 2 or 3 new people every single day. And how do I go about doing this? I don't like to cold call personally. I really use social media as a main tool to get warm people first, so they know me. And then once I've gotten to know them for a while, I try to get them to either come to one of my events or I try to go to one of their events. And then from there, I will either ask for, prior to, I may ask for a warm introduction from a mutual person, or I'll go to one of their events and then I'll actually have a coffee with them. So I have a real like warming process before, but I still am trying to, on a very regular basis, meet new people. I'm not that long in this business. I still have to constantly fill the pipeline with new people. I will say that I do prospect to realtors, but I prefer financial planners personally, just from the way that this kind of maybe this area is. But I would say realtors definitely I still talk to on a very regular basis, and they're probably more welcome to doing events and that sort of thing. But if you can do a live with a realtor once a week, it's a great way to stay in contact and also have an event and offer value. And I prefer that because it's free and it's usually like 20 minutes. How do your conversations go with financial planners? I don't know. I think it's all like, I try to really speak more about us as people versus files in the beginning. Oftentimes I don't talk about work at all with people when I first meet them. I'm genuinely trying to find out if we'd be a good match. Like it's almost like dating. to see if I connect and you connect with me, if we're a good fit. And if we are a good fit, then at that point, we'll probably talk about a file. But yeah, it might take 2 or 3 kind of interactions or conversations before any actual files come one way or another, in my experience at least. Again, Canva for everything. I use it right down to, like I said, my kids' birthday invites. I use it for everything. I used it to make this presentation. I use it for my social media. I use it for everything. And I do pay for the Canva Pro, because you just get the free photos and everything else. It's just absolutely phenomenal. If you are doing social media videos, I do use the teleprompter app. And basically you can be looking up here and the words here, versus kind of looking down, and it is awesome. So if you are script writing, is there anything you look for when you reach out to a realtor or financial planner? Like, do you have a checklist? No, I go with my gut. If the person's really kind and lovely, then I probably want to work with them. If they're not, I can usually tell pretty quick. And my process is they'll still go into my CRM, but I don't really try to proactively follow up with them any further than just the marketing emails they'll get. At this point, I just want to be around kind people that are lovely. What about Google reviews? Is this? Yes, I have in my client journey, which my CRM does, a full client journey asking. I think we ask for Google reviews 5 or 6 times in the process. So it's something, because I use Google reviews. Obviously, we use them for businesses in general, right? As a business, we look to see if someone's creditable, but I also use that as part of my testimonial Tuesday. So it's actually built into my social media plan. My mandate is for me to have at least one Google review a month, or sorry, a week, so that I always have one for my testimonial Tuesday. So I absolutely actively ask. I think someone told me once, or I read it somewhere, where it takes 18 times to be poked to get 80% yes. So 80% of the people. So I'm asking 5 to 6 times. So for sure, not all my clients are leaving Google reviews, but I am absolutely making that a top priority. And again, my CRM that we've built, the Broker Edge, that's built into the client journey. So we have lots of different client journeys. So there's like a refi client journey, a brand new client journey, a first-time homebuyer one, a 120 days to your maturity, et cetera, et cetera. Those are all mapped out, and asking for the Google review is part of the close client journey. With the teleprompter app, do you have the ability to use custom background, or do you? So the teleprompter app is just the words going down the screen. It's the script. So you would just have it filming your background, whatever that is. And then the words are on the script, or the script is on the screen, I should say. So when you're reading it, it's just like, the Anchorman teleprompter, and you'll see the words, so that you're not kind of looking down here saying, okay, fixed rate mortgages are blah, blah, blah. When, the 5-year fixed rate is blah, 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 that kind of thing. Is Broker Edge available? Yes, it is. Absolutely. Yeah, I can definitely put it in here. I'll email kind of all of these tools with like, maybe, yeah, I can do like a little link for it. But it is just brokeredge.ca. And then also I can do like all of the other links here too, and I can send it as a like a Word document. Sorry, I'm losing my mind at the end of the day. Still have 1 hour if I go. Can I come off? Yeah, of course you can, Charlene. I would love that.
Are you all done? I don't want to interrupt.
No, all good, please.
So basically, I'm looking for your advice. I'm at this point in my business where I started in 2020. So business was easy to get. I didn't have to worry about my website and social and generating leads. I was doing great mining leads from Facebook primarily. And then all of a sudden that comes to complete stop, right? So I'm at this critical point where I feel like I have to learn all of those tools and how to use them and build a website and, pre-plan my social media. But having to balance that with like, okay, like I need a client now to help me fund my income so that I continue to have the time to do those things. So what would you recommend, kind of like where I start? I feel like I'm at this point where I have to do everything. And so I'm actually doing nothing except going to
So
Zoom meetings all day long.
you are exactly the call that I'm getting on a regular basis. Like, you are the reason that I'm doing this. So thank you. It almost sounds scripted. It's not, I swear, everyone. So I totally agree with you. I would pick one thing. That would be my advice, is pick one thing and do it well, maybe two things. Because it's too much. And it's really too much. And I agree with you. That's the part, so you're basically saying, I have the content because I'm going to all the sessions. Now you need to execute. So I would pick two things and just do the things. And if you have support, I would lean into those people. So again, it's the people, it's the consistency and the execution. So if you have 2 or 3 people that you can say, this is like accountability, let's do this together, let's work on it together. Personally, that's my source of what helps. And then if you can also just make a really short list. I would use a calendar personally, because it's almost like if it's in your calendar, you'll do it. It's saying you have to do it. Then execute those 2 things that day. For me, it was those 2 coffees a day when I started. For you, it might be, I'm going to learn how to do 1 or 2 things. The other thing I would say is, although it might cost you money in the beginning, as a person that is a mortgage broker, I'm not a web designer. I know I'm not going to be able to do that well, and it will take me way longer to figure that out. I probably would suggest outsourcing some things. That would be kind of my suggestion.
Excellent. Thank you. That has been on my mind.
Yeah. And I don't know if you necessarily need a website the same as you need a application link. You could focus on, everybody will have a different opinion for sure. I do have a website. However, if you had to pick on something, I don't know how much business we get from our websites. It's nice to have people directed there and have resources there, but could you also do that through like a social media channel, like a Facebook, if you're comfortable with that? I think you probably could.
Excellent advice. Thank you.
Yeah. Does anyone else have any other questions, concerns? Thanks everyone for joining. It's super nice. If anyone has any questions ever, I can be reached. I'm super active on Instagram, but of course I put my email address in the chat as well. You can reach out to me. It is overwhelming right now, for sure, without a question. And like I said, that is kind of what you said exactly, Charlene, is like the number one thing that I'm getting right now is just, what do I do? There's so much I want to just try and do something. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can send the slide deck for sure, Eric. And also I did record this, so I can share it. Absolutely. My pleasure, everyone. Thank you. Super kind that you all came. All right. If there aren't any other questions, enjoy fielding the Bank of Canada questions over the next 24 to 48 hours, and have a lovely day.